week's up for debate, Alexis. Should the Wild make a trade at the deadline? And if so, for what position? Center, defense, or goalie? I'll let you have the floor first.
Perfect. Yeah. So a couple weeks ago, I put out the question of, do you want the Wild to make a trade at the trade deadline, just to see where people were feeling? I think that was right before the Wild started losing some games here. So I'm sure a lot of people have changed their mind since then, but I figured we'd come back to it and see, okay, for those of you who want to make a trade, what position do you think needs the most help? So we put centerman, defense, and goaltender as the options out there. Personally, I think that the defense is the position that you would have the best shot at maybe getting a good piece for without having to give up too much of your current lineup and current prospects, while also really upgrading in a position that I think we've seen some holes in lately. Kind of like you mentioned, Jesse, there's been some defensive collapses, and we've had different defense out over the course of the season due to injury or COVID. Jared Spurgeon has been out, Jonas Brodin, Matt Dumba's out right now. So that, is something to take into consideration. But a lot of the pieces that Bill Guerin and company brought in the offseason, also, like you said in the segment one, is, they overexceeded for a little while, but now I think we're seeing some of what a lot of Wild fans were worried about when some of these pieces came in, of the longevity and, can they fit in with some of these other really good defensive pieces that we have, on like our top D pairing. So I think personally, if Bill Guerin is going to make a move, and I'm kind of on the fence about making a move. I was anti-move for a while. Now I'm kind of on the fence about it. But if they do something, I think defense is the way to go. I think you have the pieces in the system to make something work with the centerman position, and goaltending. Not that I necessarily would be opposed to that. I just think that would be the toughest to swing, like to get something good without having to give up too much of what you already have. So that's why I'm going to go defense. What about you, Jesse?
I think it depends how you're feeling in general about the team and where it sits in the playoff. If you're going to get a rental, I mean,
and I think I'm anti-rental personally.
Right. Like, I think you get a rental this year if you think you can push it far, right?
Yeah.
The goaltending, yes, that's my easy answer, because what are you going to do next season? Next season, you've got, hopefully maybe Wellstead comes, right? Like you have this goalie that is going to be solid. A rental centerman, possibly. Defense, if you're going to get someone, I'd prefer it to be locked up long-term. So, I mean, I think that's kind of my difference, right? Because I think defense, you do have guys that are going to be walking away. I mean, I think even guys like Alex Goligoski, who I'm not sure is somebody you need. So if you're going to make a trade before deadline, I would prefer it to not be defense, just for that matter, because I think, at deadline, you want to get probably more of just a rental piece. Defense, I think you want to go into the offseason, get a much stronger, much more long-term player. So that's why I waffle between center and goaltending. And again, that just depends on what you think that this team can do this season. Obviously, yes, you could use centerman Marco Rossi, who we spoke with last week. He's on the bubble, and you just don't know what you're going to do with that damn goaltending position. So I'd be happy with either or. I mean, there's big names out there, Claude Giroux being one as centerman, JT Miller. Gosh, I'd love to have him. But I also think a quick fix would be a Marc-Andre Fleury or a Braden Holtby even. I mean, really, like, I'd rather have Fleury, but something like that, cheap. And so goaltending would be my answer. Sorry, I'd be goaltending. Yes, I am.
Are you pro trade? Or you want them to make a move?
Yes, okay. Mostly because I would like some work to do also. And it's fun. Trade day is way more fun if they're doing something.
I just get so nervous at the trade deadline, because a season can turn on a dime at the trade deadline, for better or for worse. So I get really anxious when I think about it, because I'm like, man, I mean, this Wild team has done so much good this season, and it's easy right now to be a little stressed out, a little frustrated, because the last couple of weeks have been a bit tough for this team. And quite frankly, really one of the only tough stretches they've had this season, other than when they had half the team out with injury. So it's easy right now to get all caught up in like all these dreams of who they could bring onto the team and fix these problems and make them the perfect team. But at the end of the day, I'm still really proud of what they've done to this point in the season. And I just keep reminding myself, we still have like 2 full months left of the regular season. Like so much can happen. So I'm more on the fence about it than I was before, where I was like very anti-trade, but I'm just a little nervous about making a move that ultimately, plummets them to the bottom of the standings or another first round exit. But, you got to take chances at the end of the day to possibly have that success. And so I'm always willing to have a team take a chance at something rather than stay pat at the end of the day, just because, a lot of teams get complacent and they just settle with what they have. And I'd rather, if they take a risk and it doesn't work out, I can't be that mad because you tried. You did what you thought was going to work and it didn't, at the risk that it could be something awesome. So I'll see how I feel in a couple more weeks. But
I mean, I'm pro trade because, again, this team cannot stay intact next season. So you have a little bit more money. You're going to lose guys anyway. And it's like, if you think, again, I'm more pro trade if it's simply for more than likely a rental guy, right? I mean, I'm not talking Martin Hansel situation, but I'm talking like,
see, and when I say I'm nervous, that's what I'm talking about. That's exactly
right.
What I'm
like,
about.
I mean, I think this team, it's close. And I think Bill Guerin will assess, like, if there is just that one little tweak that's cheap and short term that will get you past that first round and onto the promised land, why not? So I think that's why I'm just more willing to take the risk, because it's like,
you can't pay everybody at the end of the day anyway.
You can't. Like, you're not, again, I think people keep forgetting that. Like, this team cannot be the same team next year. Like, no matter
Kevin Fiala needs a new contract, everybody.
Yes,
so if you want to pay him,
needs a new contract. You got, again, all the defensemen that you have to figure out what you're going to do. Nico Sturm's probably going to walk. Like, you have these guys that just, they cannot be there financially. So it is what it is. So that's why it's like, if you can trade one, if Nico Sturm is a guy that you can trade to get a better up the middle, then why not? Don't, instead of letting him walk into free agency.
Yeah.
So I am pro trade for that reason. Billy G knows what he's doing.